How's it going, everybody? I want to welcome you back to another video on overcoming retroactive jealousy. My name is Matt, and in today's video we're going to be talking about 4 ways that you can stop those intrusive thoughts from entering in your mind. 4 ways in which you can put an end to those thoughts that cause you a lot of pain. Now, this isn't necessarily, when I say stop, meaning blocking these from happening, but ways you can actually deal with them as the thoughts come in a way in which will stop them from coming into the future. So let's kind of begin. So the number 1 is, when an intrusive thought comes in, you should kind of attend to the thought. You don't need to fight it. So again, that's kind of our first thing we want to do when we receive a thought that doesn't feel good with us. In our case, it might be a mental movie, an image of our significant other with an ex, whatever the case is. That thought does not feel good to us, so we immediately feel the pain and we try to mask the pain by doing something else, what we call compulsion. So we might ask questions of our significant other. We might just try to think our way through the thought and think our way out of the thought. There's a million other things we do sometimes unknowingly, but the problem with doing that is you make the thought even stronger. You don't actually deal with the problem at all. So when you kind of attend to a intrusive thought, just try to be mindful of it. And that's the thing, because when the thought comes in, we react as if this thought is real, as if like it's happening right in front of us, as if this is real time and our body is producing adrenaline to help us fight with this thought. But again, this is not happening in front of us. This is not even real. This is a complete illusion that our mind has brought upon us, that our brain has brought upon us, and it seems so real. However, it's not real. And so in order to stop those intrusive thoughts is to stop giving them attention. You can let them in, but remind yourself that this is not real. I don't have to explore this because this literally means nothing. And sometimes it's hard at first because you don't think they mean nothing. You think they mean something because they seem so real and this happens so often. But it's really not. This is all a little game that your brain is playing. It has to do with imbalances, has to do with a lot of different things. But your brain is telling you you're in danger, when in actuality there's no reason for that. You're not in danger whatsoever. So next time that thought comes in, be mindful of it, understand that it's there, but understand you are in absolutely no danger whatsoever. You don't have to explore the thought whatsoever. Even though you feel like you have to, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. So attend to the thought, acknowledge that it's there, but do not explore it any further, no matter what you have to do. And over time, those thoughts are going to lose power and lose power and lose power. And pretty soon, the thoughts are not even going to be there at all, and you won't suffer from it anymore, period. All right, number 2 is going to be, don't fear the thought. So kind of piggybacking off of what we talked about in number 1 is actually attending the thought. Number 2 is just don't fear the thought. Again, there's nothing actually to be afraid of here. Your brain's going to tell you there's reason to be afraid, but you're in no danger whatsoever of any physical harm at all. And so you need to be okay with the feeling that it brings upon you. So again, it's going to suck. It's going to not feel good. Those intrusive thoughts don't feel good. They activate the fight or flight response, which causes a lot of anxiety, a lot of jitters, things like that. Your heart starts racing. But you almost have to embrace that pain, embrace that emotion, embrace that feeling, and understand that feeling that more and more and more will actually help stop retroactive jealousy, will help you defeat retroactive jealousy. But if you're actually afraid of the thoughts and you don't know how to deal with them, and then you try to avoid them and you do certain things to try to avoid certain situations of whatever it may be, you again are telling your brain that there is something to fear. I am scared of these thoughts. And so your brain's going to react with more adrenaline, more adrenaline, more adrenaline. So you're going to feel worse and worse and worse and worse every time an intrusive thought enters into your mind. So from this point forward, tell yourself, I'm not afraid anymore. These thoughts can come in. I might have a certain reaction or a feeling or an emotion to it, but that's not going to keep me from living my life and doing my things. I'm not afraid of anything, especially something that I can't even see, especially something that I can't even touch. It's just a thought. So keep that in mind as you're going forward, is be on that stance of, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid at all, and I'm not going to be afraid. These thoughts can come in. They can give me that anxious feeling, but you know what? It doesn't faze me. I'm tough, I'm strong, and move forward. The problem is when we start avoiding the thoughts or avoiding situations that trigger the thoughts. That's when we're sending the wrong messages to the brain. We need to send the brain messages of like confidence, of I'm in control, brain, stay out of the way. I'm in control of how I feel about things. So keep that in mind. Don't fear the thought. Let it in. Don't avoid it. Feel the pain, feel the emotion, but push on. So number 4 is to stop taking these intrusive thoughts so personally. And again, this comes down to the idea that we believe that these thoughts are real and actually happening. But again, this is not. This is OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. You're thinking a thought, you want to mask the pain, so you need to feel the need to compulse and do things like that. It's a complete illusion. Nothing needs to happen in this case. But we tend to take them very personally, again, as if they're really happening. So sometimes we tend to, again, apologize for things that we don't need to apologize for, or get angry with ourselves when we don't need to get angry with ourselves, or cancel this event because we don't feel confident enough to go there because we think we're going to have an anxiety attack when we're there. Whatever it is, whatever the situation is, don't take it personal. Don't change your life or alter your life around what is happening. Maintain everything that you usually do. Think of your life before retroactive jealousy or whatever that looks like, and keep living your life that way, even though you do have an intrusive thought that comes in. And yes, it's not going to feel good. Don't let that stray you from living your life. Don't take any of this personally. Again, this comes down to imbalances and things like that in your brain. And so the more you give attention to it, the more you think this is actually a part of you and this is something that's going to be forever, the more power you give to the thoughts, the more power you give to retroactive jealousy. So again, don't take it personal. Don't avoid things. Don't apologize. Don't alter your behavior as best as you can. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep living your life normally. Let the thoughts come in. Feel the emotion, but don't let it detract you from your goal and staying on that path. All right, and the final one, piggybacking off of what we just talked about, is stop changing your behaviors. So again, as we said, by not taking things personally, don't change your behaviors. Don't alter your life because of these intrusive thoughts, because of retroactive jealousy. Don't say, no, I can't do this anymore, or I'll do this, but only when I feel better, or I can't say this, I can't go here, I can't, whatever the case is, because you're afraid of how you're going to feel about it, because you're afraid of retroactive jealousy. I remember when I was suffering, I'd be afraid to go on flights, go on a plane ride and things like that, because I'd be like, what if I have an anxiety attack while I'm on this flight and I'm in small closed spaces and there's no way out? And so I would avoid certain situations. You know, if a certain area of the city triggered me because I knew that something in my significant other's past happened in this certain spot, I would, drive the next street over so I wouldn't have to look at this place to cause me the trigger. And so I'd start modifying and changing my life and changing my behaviors and putting things off. And the problem with that, again, is you are telling your brain in that case that this fear is real. And so you're not going to get over the retroactive jealousy. You're not going to get over these intrusive thoughts. You're essentially saying to your brain, like, hey, there is a wild animal on this street corner, so I'm going to go to the other street corner so I can avoid this wild animal and avoid getting physically hurt or killed by an animal. Something physical. That's basically what we're telling our brain. Our brain doesn't know our thoughts aren't physical. They think they're real, just like a lion on a street corner would be. So you're basically building up your fear every time you're modifying your life, changing your behaviors, changing who you are, whatever the case is, because you fear of your intrusive thoughts. And the truth is, to stop the thoughts altogether is to continue acting like you always usually would. And this is easier said than done. It sounds simple, but sometimes it's hard because you're going to feel like crap a lot. It's going to be painful. You're going to get some anxiety. You might have an anxiety attack, but the more you can just refocus on who you are and where you want to go and what you want to be, and not give any attention to the thoughts whatsoever, again, the quicker you tell your brain there's no fear in this. and the faster your brain will no longer send the fight or flight response every time you receive a retroactive jealousy intrusive thought. So to wrap everything up, I hope that kind of helps those of you out there that need to hear that, because you can't just necessarily stop the thought and block things from coming in or avoid things. That all makes it worse. To actually stop intrusive thoughts, you have to let them in. You have to let the feeling come over you, but you can't react to them past that. You cannot do a compulsion. You cannot try to mask the pain. You've got to feel it. The more you do that, the faster you're going to come over retroactive jealousy, the faster you're going to get over it. And I just remember when I finally just kind of let everything go and just said, almost told myself, this is how I'm going to feel forever, so I'm just going to live my best life possible feeling this way. I knew that was not true, but I kind of told my brain that I'm willing to feel like this crappy feeling forever. I don't care. You can send as many thoughts my way as you want. I'm going to keep my eye on the prize and keep living the life the way I want to. When I finally stood my ground and kind of said that to my brain, it took a couple days, but those feelings, the nervous system calmed down. There was no adrenaline response as much anymore. My brain kind of had my back. It kind of collected itself. It's like, okay, I can see where this guy's going. He's not going to explore these thoughts. He's not going to go back. There's no danger here. So I can relax. I can calm down. I can be easy. So I challenge you to kind of do that. Try what we spoke about there and practice some of those things, letting the thoughts in, not taking them personally, not changing behaviors, not reacting, not compulsing. And if you really need to, just tell your brain once and for all, you know what, brain, I'm going to do what I want to do. You can send thoughts my way. You can make me feel a certain way if you want to, but it's not going to change my eyes on the prize. I'm going straight ahead. I'm going to follow my path. So hopefully that helps everybody. Once again, if you want a little extra help on all this, I do have the Retroactive Jealousy course that I'll leave the link below. If you need some exercises and things like that and some one-on-one time, I'm more than happy to help you out with that. And of course, the RJ Relief Community on Facebook. We'd love for you to become a member of that if not already. It's absolutely free. Doesn't take anything. Just pop in the link below and add yourself there, and you can be a part of that membership too. So thanks once again, everybody, for watching. We'll see you in the next video.